Hey guys, welcome to section 2, chapter 6 of the geometry program. This section is going to be super easy for you guys, but there's a couple of theorems here that we really do need to talk about. So I went ahead and made a video for this, but I promise you, your homework tonight will be super easy. Okay, first theorem is theorem 6.1, and it simply says that opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. So if you have a parallelogram here, this side is 14, then that side's going to be 14. And if this side is 19, that side is 19, right? Super easy. So not only are opposite sides parallel, but they're also congruent. All right, so that's important to know. All right, next theorem, opposite angles of a parallelogram are congruent. So this angle is congruent to this angle is congruent to this angle. All right, to extend that, theorem 3 here also would say that the same side, or what we call consecutive angles, are supplementary. So if this is angle 1 and this is 2, this is 3 and this is 4, angle 1 plus angle 2 are going to equal 180 degrees. Angle 2 plus angle 3 are going to equal 180 degrees. And you can go around. Angle 3 plus angle 4 would equal 180 degrees, and then angle 1 plus angle 4. So if you don't, depending on the information that you are given, you can either use the idea that 1 and 3 are congruent, and 2 and 4 are congruent, or that the consecutive angles are supplementary. Okay? All right, let's jump into a few examples. In this first example, then, we need to solve for x and y. Y is opposite the 70, so we know that that has to be congruent to the 70. And then what we just learned is that the consecutive angles are supplementary. So that means 70 plus x has to equal 180, meaning x has to equal 110. Okay, so opposite angles congruent, consecutive angles supplementary. All right, then we also learned that our sides are congruent, opposite sides are congruent. All right, so if we wanted to solve here for our variables, I simply set opposite sides equal to each other. So again, not only do we have opposite sides parallel, we have opposite sides congruent, meaning x plus 5 equals 20, and y minus 3 has to equal 15. So x would equal 15, and y would equal 18. Okay, I told you this would be really easy. All right, what if you have a situation like this where you have a bunch of unknowns? How do you solve for those? Well, you could try to set opposite angles equal to each other, but what you realize, like if we do 3y minus 20 equals 2x plus 6, we have two variables here, and we can't solve this if we have two variables. So that's not going to work. Similarly, if we set x equal to 4y plus 4, we have two variables. That's not going to work. So we're going to have to use the theorem that says that consecutive angles are supplementary. So when I do that and I match up the single variables, now I'm going to be able to solve this thing. So what I know is that 3y minus 20 plus 4y plus 4 equals 180. So you would get 7y minus 16 equals 180. 7y equals 196, and then y equals 28. Similarly with x, you could set x plus 2x plus 6 equal to 180. 3x is going to equal 174, and 174 divided by 3 is 58. All right. So sometimes you just have to finagle your information a little bit based on what you have. All right, I just have one more here. Here I have set of opposite angles. I do just have one variable, so I would be able to set these two equal to each other. And if I solve for x, I can bring the 2x over and bring the 4 over, and x equals 2. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole lesson. We have to play around with it a little bit in order to be able to apply it to our proofs. So when you're ready, finish up your notes, read the examples, and begin your assignment.